Good morning, badasses. Coach Joe from the Summit Endurance Academy here. Today I wanted to talk a little bit about genetics. We kind of talk about genetics in a fairly obscure way. We often use our own genetics as an excuse, and so I wanted to kind of develop a more nuanced approach to this, or thinking behind this. There are a couple different things that in the last 10 years of research have kind of brought up, and one is that yes, there absolutely are genetics that limit your ultimate potential. And so that's whether you are a high limit athlete or a low limit athlete. And one of the keys here is that endurance performance is so fucking complicated. There are so many factors, each one of which you could be a high or low limit on, that really it almost doesn't matter. Like, yes, you if you do not have the genetics, you will not be an Olympic champion. But you can still be pretty fucking good, because even if, this one factor associated with your VO2 max means that your VO2 max is going to be low, neat, be an ultra runner and just sit right below that shit for 10 hours. So high limit, low limit. One of the other things that can kind of cloud that issue is that some people are fast responders or slow responders. And so whether or not you get up to that your ultimate ability level, which, spoiler alert, almost nobody fucking does. It takes years and years and years of training really, really hard for you to actually hit your genetic limit. Like, we're talking 15 years of training like an Olympian. You probably haven't hit it. But some people might be able to hit that limit in 5. Some people might be able to hit that limit in 10. And that's what we mean by a fast responder, somebody who responds very quickly to training. So you might have a low limit fast responder. So they might be, and trust me, this is super rare. You could, spend 5 years training like an Olympian and hit your plateau, and you're done. You will never get any faster. But that's, again, super rare. You might have a high limit fast responder. Guess what that looks like? That looks like a 20-year-old Olympic champion. That's somebody who has been able to come up, or like a Christy Wellington or somebody like that, who comes into the sport and then 3 or 4 years later is the best in the world. But then you also have, one of the keys here is that you can also have, at any level, a slower responder. And so that looks like the 35-year-old Olympic champion, or the 37-year-old Olympic champion, or somebody like that, who's been like on the national team for 20 years. And they have just inched their way up and clawed their way up and clawed their way up and clawed their way up. And finally they hit their limit 20 years later. So most of us, we're all somewhere in between. But I think that we get caught up in looking not only at high limit athletes, but also high responder athletes. And we all know somebody who can train for 6 weeks and just crush. But that doesn't mean that you can't beat them with longer, consistent gains. So that's the theme of the day here, folks, is even if you're not seeing gains right away, you might just be a slightly lower responder. And that has nothing to do with how high that limit ends up being. Nothing at all. It means you just keep plugging away and you just keep seeing results and keep seeing results and keep seeing results. So don't get discouraged. Keep training. Have a good day.